The NBA season is underway and there's already lots of drama. Trades are being made left and right and center while the Los Angeles Lakers are dominating. Rookie sensations are making their mark and veteran stars are showing their age. In this video, we'll catch you up on all the latest NBA news. First, who is Hansel Enmanuel? After LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan stole the show at the Drew League last week, big names kept coming to the LA Summer Tournament. Trae Young and John Collins, both of the Atlanta Hawks, played well for Black Pearl Elite against City Team Blazers. Together they scored 38 points in a 103-100 loss. Hansel Enmanuel, a high school star, stole the show at the Drew League today. The NBA stars got all the attention, but Hansel Enmanuel was the real star. Hansel Enmanuel is a name. Enmanuel became well known on social media in 2020. His highlight reel plays in which he scored baskets against his opponents, even though he only has one arm, got a lot of attention. Enmanuel was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic in 2004. When he was only 6 years old, a cinder block wall fell on him and broke off his left arm. Even though he had a setback, Enmanuel kept playing basketball and improved his skills. In 2021, he got a scholarship to attend Life Christian Academy in Florida. Enmanuel, who is ranked as a 3-star recruit and the 22nd best high school player in Florida, according to 24/7 Sports, garnered attention from several Division I schools. Enmanuel, a 6'6" combo guard, scored 25.9 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, gave 6.9 assists, and blocked 3.4 shots per game on average through February 15. Enmanuel chose Northwestern State after getting offers from Memphis, Tennessee State, and Bethune-Cookman, and thinking about joining Overtime Elite. Enmanuel signed a new NIL deal with Gatorade in June. He's worth 1.4 million NIL and has 1.5 million Instagram followers and 2.5 TikTok followers. His basketball journey is getting started. Next, Gibson headed to Wizards. Even though the New York Knicks had to let Taj Gibson go last week so that they could make room in their salary cap to sign both Jalen Brunson and Isaiah Hartenstein, I thought Gibson might still come back to the team after he cleared waivers. Instead, he signed a 1-year deal with the Washington Wizards and is going south on the Akela corridor. The Knicks now have a lot of options at center after re-signing Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. They also re-signed Jericho Sims to a full NBA contract after he spent last season on a 2-way deal. Most nights, Hartenstein and Robinson should play center, with Sims as a backup. Julius Randle and Obi Toppin could also play together in the front court for a different look. Gibson should play the same kind of safety role in Washington as he did the past 2 seasons. Kristaps Porzingis and Daniel Gafford will probably play most of the minutes at center when they're healthy. Gibson will be competing with third-year center Vernon Carey Jr. for the 3rd spot on the depth chart and the chance to move into the rotation if Porzingis and Gafford miss time. There's no doubt that Gibson's experience is also important to the Wizards. Gibson is now 37 years old. He has been in the NBA for 13 years and has played for the New York coach Tom Thibodeau at all 3 of his coaching jobs. Aside from a short term at the start of the 2020-21 season, Thibodeau hasn't coached a team without Gibson since the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2016-17. Moving on, Gallinari agrees to terms with Celtics. Forward Danilo Gallinari has signed a deal to play for the Boston Celtics. This comes 2 days after he was released by the San Antonio Spurs. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says the deal is for 2 years and $13.3 million, with a player option for the 2nd year. People expected the Spurs to waive Gallinari after they got him as a part of the deal that sent DeJounte Murray to the Atlanta Hawks. Bobby Marks of ESPN says that Gallinari's 2022-23 season, which was guaranteed for $13 million because of the trade, would have been fully guaranteed for $21.5 million if he hadn't been released by Friday. So teams might plan to go after Gallinari when free agency starts. This would let the Celtics keep their taxpayer mid-level exception, which is their only way to add free agents who make more than the veterans minimum this summer. Gallinari was an interesting free agent because of his age. He will be 34 in August. He's most appealing to teams that are in the running for championship, but his defensive weaknesses make him less valuable in the playoffs. Gallinari's minutes per game dropped from 25.3 during the regular season to 22.4 in Atlanta's first-round series against the Miami Heat, even though he started 3 games with Clint Capela was out with an injury. All of this makes it hard for the Celtics to use Gallinari during the regular season. He will definitely give Boston more options in the front court and make it easier on starters Al Horford and Robert Williams III. Since the Celtics traded Daniel Theis for Malcolm Brogdon, Gallinari may get more chances to play at power forward. This could mean that Horford spends more time at center during the regular season. Gallinari is a better player for defenses to go after in the playoffs than the few Boston players who were worth going after one-on-one during the team's run in the 2021 finals. It wouldn't be a surprise if Gallinari stopped playing at all. After adding Brogdon, the Celtics now have a lot of good players, so they could do just fine without Gallinari if he has trouble. During free agency, it became clear quickly that there was no better player that Boston could have signed instead of Gallinari. This makes the decision easy to understand. I just want to make sure that both sides were honest about Gallinari's role might change in the playoffs. In other related news, Jerry Stackhouse in the building as nostalgic Detroit Pistons uniforms were introduced. After being gone for more than 20 years, teal is coming back to the Motor City. The Detroit Pistons' old uniforms were shown to a small group of partners, influencers, and ticket holders on Monday night. These uniforms will be the official Classic Edition jerseys for the 2022-23 season. Former Pistons star Jerry Stackhouse went back to his old neighborhood in Detroit for the launch party to show off the jerseys. He did this from the 72nd floor of the Renaissance Center, which has a view of the city. Stackhouse was one of the legends of the franchise, along with Grant Hill and Ben Wallace, who helped make the uniforms popular during their time. But Hill was one person who didn't like the new colorway, especially back at that time. Given how great Hill was during his time with the Pistons, even he can't deny that the uniforms are still popular and that his career is still linked to those colors. This season, Pistons guard Cade Cunningham and the team's new look will wear retro jerseys for 10 games. From 1996 to 2001, Detroit played in teal horsehead jerseys instead of its usual red, white, and blue. After that, the team went back to its old look. Stackhouse was an all-star twice with the teal jerseys in 2000 and 2001. In those uniforms, Detroit also made it to the postseason 3 times. Even though Stackhouse is now the head coach at Vanderbilt University, the jerseys from that time still remind him of that time. I saw a random person in Tennessee wearing the jersey, so it has a life of its own. It has its own identity, said Stackhouse. I even like the maroon jerseys a lot. I'm sure they don't get as much love as the teal, but I'm glad they're back. Finally, former Los Angeles Lakers player Slava Medvedenko auctions NBA title rings for native Ukraine. SCP auctions are giving Medvedenko's Fly High Foundation the full sale price for both rings. Its goal is to help Ukrainian kids by fixing up the sports facilities and schools in the war-torn country, and starting a network of social sports clubs. We want to restore gyms because the Russian army bombed more than 100 schools, he told the Associated Press by phone on Sunday. In our country, fixing the schools will cost a lot of money. Sports gyms will be the last ones to help fix it. We have winter in Ukraine, so kids have to play inside. The auction takes place from Wednesday to August 5th. The company in Laguna Niguel, California, thinks that the 2 rings will bring in at least $100,000. Medvedenko said he decided to sell the rings after going to the roof of one of the tallest buildings in his Kiev neighborhood and seeing Russian rockets flying through the night sky. In this moment, I just decided, why do I need these rings if they're just sitting in my safe? Medvedenko said, I just recognize I can die. After that, I just say that I have to sell them to show leadership, to help my Ukrainian people live better, and to help kids. Medvedenko spoke from Warsaw, Poland, where he held a sold-out charity basketball game to raise money for Ukraine refugees who crossed the border to get away from the war. Medvedenko is married and has a 10-year-old son and 2 daughters who are 16 and 11. After Russia invaded Ukraine in February, Medvedenko sent his kids to live with their grandmother in another part of the country. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today. Make sure to like and follow for more great news. Till next time, cheers.